Today on Rappler, convicted killer Rolito Go is missing from prison.
Ito na rin po yung tinatawag na eugenics. Sabi nila, ganito po yun eh. If you are weak, useless, uneducated, and poor, you have no right to bear children. You have no right in this world.
Senate Majority Leader Tito accuses international groups backing the RH bill of condoning infanticide and genetic manipulation.
Those, of course, we are happy. But we will use every means to, legal means, of course, to block this bill.
And more anti-RH bill lawmakers filibuster, preventing the House of Representatives from tackling the measure for the second day. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Convicted killer Rolito Go is missing from the New Bilibid prison. The Justice Department says his sister claims Go and nephew Clemens Yu, his nurse, were kidnapped, and the captors are asking for a 1 million peso ransom. Their absence was discovered during the morning head count. Justice Secretary Laila de Lima orders the DOJ and the Bureau of Corrections to investigate. Go was convicted for the death of De La Salle engineering student Eldon Maguan in 1991 after a traffic fight in San Juan. In 1993, a local court sentenced him to life in prison. He was moved out of maximum security in New Bilibid in 2009, prompting an outcry from the family. He asked for executive clemency under the Arroyo administration, a move opposed by the Maguan family. Senate Majority Leader Vicente Tito Soto III changes his tone from emotional to combative in the second part of his speech against the Reproductive Health Bill Wednesday. Soto attacks international and local groups backing the RH bill. He questions their motives and credibility, saying they want to control population through abortion. He names the USAID, International Planned Parenthood Federation, and the UN as groups wanting to control the population of developing countries. He says local NGOs get funds from the international groups to, quote, nurture legislators.
Ang problema, Mr. President, ang nagpondo sa paggawa ng mga statistical data na ito ay ang United States Agency for International Development o yung the USAID, for the information of the body, is the agency which the United States uses as its principal instrument to control and reduce the population through birth control worldwide. This is IPPF's vision, Mr. President. Quote, "We believe that a woman has the right to choose and access safe abortion services, and we advocate for changes in legislation to support this." End of quote. That is their true meaning of pro-choice.
Soto alleges that the founder of Planned Parenthood condones infanticide, and the group uses birth control to eliminate people of inferior genes.
There's even a darker side to Margaret Sanger. This meant the systematic elimination through birth control, including abortion, of all those people she and her cohorts considered as to be dysgenic stock, in order to create a race of superior intellectuals. Ito na rin po yung tinatawag na eugenics. Sabi nila, ganito po yun eh. If you are weak, useless, uneducated, and poor, you have no right to bear children. You have no right in this world.
RH advocates dismiss Senator Soto's speech as a rehash of old arguments and old conspiracy theories. Beth Angshoko of the RH Advocacy Network says the money from international groups are used to help Filipino women through information campaigns and RH kits.
Mahiya siya, no? If he wants to save women's lives, sabi niya kanina, ayaw niya nang may namamatay, then maglabas ng pondo ang gobyerno para sagipin ang mga kababaihan.
RH bill sponsor Senator Pia Cayetano says Soto's argument that the pro-RH NGOs are not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission is irrelevant. While she's frustrated, she says she will let Soto continue his speech next week out of courtesy.
What? Kung ikaw supporter, kailangan ba registered ka sa SEC? Wala, SEC. That's an irrelevant argument if you ask me. So, and the important thing to remember is, as a senator, as the sponsor of the measure, I have gone through the whole process, and it's very clear to me, and even the surveys would show, that this is a need of the Filipino people.
Other legislation, a collective editorial by various media organizations, including Rappler, calls on the Aquino administration to pass the Freedom of Information Act, which remains stuck in Congress. The media statement says the FOI Act, quote, long promised by the Constitution to this day, remains just a promise. It calls the right to information a protection against government abuse and that it is our power to make government accountable. The statement calls on the President, Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, and Speaker Feliciano Belmonte Jr. to exercise leadership and turn FOI into law. The House of Representatives fails again to tackle the Reproductive Health Bill Wednesday as more anti-RH lawmakers filibuster. Under House rules, motions to deliver privileged speeches take precedence over motions to amend bills. The House leadership has no choice but to entertain them.
Those, of course, we are happy. But we will use every means to, legal means, of course, to block this bill.
One of RH Bill's staunchest supporter in the lower house, Iloilo Representative Janet Garin, says the privileged speeches were mere, quote, excuses to block the controversial measure. But Garin remains confident that there's time to pass the bill. The RH bill is now under the period of amendments where lawmakers can delete, add, or amend provisions to the bill.
Obvious naman na palusot eh. Obvious naman na talagang merong iba na gustong hindi pag-usapan. Well, we still believe that there's a good chance with the President who has a strong political will.
Tropical storm Helen, international name Kitac, maintains its strength after weakening this morning as it moves towards the South China Sea. State Weather Bureau Pag-asa issues a yellow warning signal over Metro Manila as of 5:30 p.m. Wednesday. Moderate to heavy rain is expected in the early evening. Storm signal number 2 is up over Cagayan, including Calayan and Babuyan Islands, Batanes Group of Islands, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Kalinga, Apayao, and Abra. Storm signal number 1 is up over Isabela, Northern Aurora, Quirino, Nueva Vizcaya, Benguet, Ifugao, Mountain Province, Pangasinan, and La Union. Northern Luzon will have stormy weather while the rest of Central Luzon, Southern Luzon, and Western Visayas will have occasional to frequent rain. Mindanao and the rest of the Visayas will have partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain and thunderstorms. The storm is expected to exit the Philippine area of responsibility by Thursday. Employees of State Weather Bureau Pag-asa will receive their benefits for the first half of the year. The Department of Budget and Management says it will provide the budget to cover allowances for Pag-asa employees. It says it will, quote, strictly enforce rules on the Magna Carta for government science personnel. Budget Secretary Florencio Abad says Pag-asa is frequently violating provisions of the Magna Carta. He says the agency gives hazard allowances to all employees regardless of the nature of work. Abad says the changes will benefit the entire Department of Science and Technology and its 18 other attached agencies. On Tuesday, the Bureau's employees staged a protest over the unpaid benefits, prompting a visit by President Aquino himself. Whistleblower Rodolfo June Losada is charged with 2 counts of graft for his decisions as CEO of government-run Philippine Forest Corporation in 2007 and 2008. Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales approves the filing of the graft charges with the Sandigan Bayan on July 31. Losada blew the whistle in 2008 on Jose Miguel Mike Arroyo, former Commission on Elections Chair Benjamin Abalos, and former cabinet officials. He accused the 3 of taking bribes from Chinese officials in the NBN-ZTE deal to computerize the bureaucracy. His testimony in the Senate triggered a probe and the filing of charges against Abalos and former Economic Planning Secretary Romulo Neri. Losada is accused of granting unlawful leasehold rights to Transforma Quinta Incorporated, in which he and his wife are allegedly connected as representatives. He is also accused of awarding leasehold rights over public land to his brother. Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 5, the Pentagon's new technology could bring missiles or airplanes to the other side of the planet in minutes instead of hours. The Pentagon tests an unmanned 25-foot-long vehicle that will try to fly at over 4,500 miles per hour, fast enough to get to London from New York in less than an hour. It's part of the hypersonic flight tests that do not leave the atmosphere. The technology is significant to the Pentagon as other countries develop technology that render stealth technology useless. At number 6, the Curiosity rover appears as a double dot in a new satellite image released by NASA. NASA officials say, quote, "We can clearly see Curiosity. It's like two bright spots that we see and their shadows." Curiosity is supposed to go to the base of the big mountain at the center of Gale, known as Mount Sharp. There it will examine rocks for proof of previous microbial life. At number 9, the New York Times names Mark Thompson, outgoing Director General of the BBC, as its new president and chief executive, indicating a push towards a digital future. The 55-year-old Thompson was responsible for the BBC's TV, radio, and online services. New York Times chairman Arthur Sulzberger says in a statement, quote, "Mark is a gifted executive with strong credentials whose leadership at the BBC helped it to extend its trusted brand identity into new digital products and services." And at number 10, NBC says the London Olympics is the most watched event ever in U.S. television history. The Olympics draws more than 219 million American viewers, setting a new record that surpasses the 2008 Beijing Olympics, which attracted 215 million viewers. NBC has sole rights to broadcast the games in the United States. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Every story on Rappler has a unique mood meter, which has 8 moods for you to choose. Click on the mood on how you feel, and that vote will be aggregated on the front page of Rappler at its Mood Navigator. If you take a look at Rappler's Mood Navigator today, it's dominated by RH Bill stories. The story that has the most, well, we'll take a look at one little purple patch, RH Bill and a Tale of Two Senator Parents, 71% annoyed, 17% happy, and 6% sad. But if you pull back, take a look, the story that's gotten the most number of clicks and the emotion that's gotten the most number of votes is red. 62% angry, reaction to Soto's no to RH Bill speech, flares up social media, all going towards the mood of the day, red. Most people are angry. Well, that's Rappler's Newscast for today, Wednesday, August 15, 2012. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us choose the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.